We know for a line, slope is the change in y over the change in x. When we're looking at a nonlinear graph, we call that the average rate of change because it's going to be changing along the whole thing, isn't it? The slope isn't the same. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 points and I'm going to draw a line through those 2 points, and I'm going to find the slope. That's your average rate of change. We call that the secant line. Secant means to cut. So I'm going to cut my graph into 2 parts, and then I'm going to use my slope formula. Now, it looks like it's a pretty complex formula, but all it is the value of the function at your second point minus the value of the function at the first point divided by your dependent variables. So in other words, it's just slope. So let's take a look at example 5. I want to find the average rate of change from -2 to -1. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find f of -2. So f of -2 is going to be the opposite of -2 cubed plus 3 times -2. In other words, that'll be the opposite of -8 minus 6. So it'll be 8 minus 6, which is 2. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to find f of, I'm going to switch pen colors here so you can see the difference. I'm going to find f of -1. So I'll say the opposite of -1 cubed plus 3 times -1. I'm going to go a little bit quicker on this one. So -1 cubed is -1. Take the opposite of that, that's a +1. And then 3 times -1 is -3. So I get -2. And on this first one, I think I'm going to write down the formula so you can see what's going on here. So we're going to say, to find the value of my function, it's going to be f of -2 minus f of -1 all over -2 minus a -1. Don't forget your negative sign, not just the minus sign. So f of -2 is 2 minus f of -1 is -2 all over 3, because subtracting negative you get 3. So my average rate of change from our first problem is 4/3. My 3 looks 6, so I'm going to rewrite that. Now, I'd like you to do is example 6 is kind of the same thing. So pause the video, do example 6, and then restart the video to compare your answer. So I'm going to find f of 1 first. And so I'm going to replace x with 1. So say the opposite of 1 cubed plus 3 times 1. So it'll be -1 plus 3, which is 2. Now I'll turn around and I'll find f of 0. And nice things happen at 0 because it's 0 plus 0, which is 0. So then I'm going to find f of 1 minus f of 0 all over 2 minus 0. So f of 1 is 2 minus 0 over 2 minus 0. So I get 2 over 2, which is 1. Average rate of change. That's what we'll be doing.